Within the Bay Area, San Francisco is essentially an island that is bordered by sea on 3 sides, and the San Bruno Mountain dominates the majority of the southern land boundary. On the other hand, in addition to having more space for growth, Oakland offers stronger transport and is presently the hub of most shipments in the Bay Area today. Oakland would seem to be a sensible spot to rebuild after San Francisco was decimated in the earthquake of 1906, but since then, the building of the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, and well, everything else, has further cemented San Francisco's position and dominance in the Bay Area. And so it begs the question, why is San Francisco the dominant city in the Bay Area? First off, San Francisco's rise to and continued dominance can't be attributed to a single factor. Rather, it was the result of a number of interrelated factors. The most notable of these factors is the Presidio of San Francisco. The Presidio of San Francisco, a fortified base on the northern tip of the San Francisco Peninsula, which the Spanish had initially built to bolster their claim to San Francisco Bay and guarantee a foothold in Alta California, was transferred to the United States in 1848, along with the lands of California. The Presidio served as a focal point as the earliest American settlements emerged around the bay, and the settlement of Yerba Buena being the original name of the settlement that later became San Francisco, flourished because it was close to the Presidio of San Francisco, which meant it was only a short distance from the Presidio's security, troops, and connections to the outside world. Secondly, since the west side of San Francisco Bay is naturally deeper than the east, piers could easily be constructed out to a depth where ocean-going ships could anchor safely. Then there was the problem of Luis Maria Peralta. Luis Maria Peralta was a Spanish-born Californian ranchero and soldier in the Spanish army. Peralta had a highly decorated career, and on August 3, 1820, he was rewarded for his 40 years of service with the Rancho San Antonio land grant, a grant that covered 44,800 acres, that encompassed most of the East Bay region of the Bay Area in Northern California, that included the future sites of the cities of San Leandro, Oakland, Alameda, Emeryville, Piedmont, Berkeley, and Albany. Also, a little bit of a side note I found while researching. Peralta had many descendants, but his most famous descendant is the Latin American revolutionary Che Guevara. So, pretty interesting. Now, back to the video. Yet, when the gold rush of 1849 attracted tens of thousands of fortune seekers, Peralta refused to sell his land for the establishment of a competing town across the bay, ensuring that San Francisco commanded the unrivaled bay. And though there were wagon roads to the gold country, Sacramento, Monterey, and Stockton, the various new towns springing up around the bay were most conveniently connected by water transportation to San Francisco. Later, in the 1860s, came the railways, which included the Transcontinental Link that was completed in 1869. The big four railway tycoons, Collis Huntington, Mark Hopkins, Leland Stanford, and Charles Croker, who funded the Central Pacific Railroad, which formed the western portion of the first Transcontinental Railroad, played the various interests on either side of the bay against one another, in a series of back and forth mergers and acquisitions. Just as simply, the rail line from the east could head north towards Oakland, or bridge the short bay at Dumbarton to reach San Francisco through Stockton and the Altamont Pass, or it was feared, a rival port on Yerba Buena Island. Although the Central Pacific's 2-mile-long wharf was erected in Oakland in 1868, it only substantially reduced the amount of business that was conducted at San Francisco's ports. It could seem like an opportunity to rethink restarting on the peninsula after the catastrophic 1906 San Francisco earthquake and the ensuing fires, which killed more than 3,000 people and destroyed more than 80% of the city. But the thing to remember is, such catastrophes don't alter property ownership. Daniel Burnham, the architect of the Flatiron Building and the renowned Plan of Chicago, had a visionary San Francisco redesign plan ready for publication, but it was promptly abandoned, while the city's corporate leaders hurried to reconstruct the same city in the same location. By that point, the city had enough freight handling thanks to train links running down the peninsula, and eastward with rail cars transported over the bay. Most crucially, San Francisco, not Oakland, had been chosen as the location for the establishment of the offices for major corporations. It's also important to remember that while Oakland had plenty of space and access to drinking water during its first several decades of development, the Berkeley Hills would ultimately restrict its ability to develop inland. Ironically, nowadays, Oakland has surpassed San Francisco as the largest container ship port, as a result of the advent of containerized shipping. Yet, today, San Francisco has grown significantly in importance beyond that of a simple port facility, and has evolved into the San Francisco that we know today. This has been me, Jack, and shout out to all the people from San Francisco.